Passive income. A concept that has certainly been gaining a lot of steam over the past couple of years. Everyone wants it. In this video, I want to explain this concept, some of the ways you can start earning it, and even how you can just straight up buy extra income every month. Hey everybody, welcome back to Dollars and Cents, helping you make sense of making dollars. Remember, if you enjoy the informational investing content on this channel, to like and subscribe. Also, be sure to check out the link in the description to join my Discord so you can hang out with me and some other really cool people from this community. With that, let's get right into it. What is passive income? Simply put, it's income that's earned passively. Crazy idea, I know. In my view and many others, there are really two kinds of income: active income and passive income. The first, active income, is income earned by being paid for doing a task. This is often just a job that you go to and are paid based on how long you work and some other factors. Passive income is, as I said earlier, income that you do not have to work for. Usually, it requires a decent amount of upfront work, and then you're set for the most part. Some examples include starting a blog or a YouTube channel, writing and publishing a book, and even buying, renovating, and renting out real estate. These are all examples that require a lot of upfront work. However, once you put in the initial work for all of these, you can just let it function on its own and then collect income in a passive way. Do all the work now so it works for you later. Of course, I'm sure that everyone has heard of making passive income through investing too. This is my favorite kind of passive income. I am of course referring to passive income through dividends. Dividends are sums of cash that companies pay out from what's called their free cash flow, or FCF. FCF is the cash from a company's operations after it's paid all of its expenses. With this leftover cash, many of the high-growth companies of today will reinvest it into their business to continue to grow it at a faster rate. Some companies will choose to use this cash to pay a dividend. Every company that chooses to pay dividends pays a different amount in dividends, and you can find out how much they pay by doing this. Let's take a company that I just recently bought for instance. We can type Pepsi stock into Google and get this little overview of Pepsi. The information that we're looking for is the dividend yield. We see here it's currently 3.07%. The dividend yield will change from day to day, but the amount Pepsi pays does not. Now, in order to figure out how much Pepsi pays, we just multiply their share price by their current dividend yield. Let's do the math. $133.03 times 0.0307 gets us $4.08 per share paid out by Pepsi per year that you own the stock. Very nice. Now, Pepsi pays out a quarterly dividend, so you will get paid $1.02 every 3 months for every share that you own. In the end, though, you will get a total of $4.08 every year. Generally, companies that do pay dividends also like to increase this year over year, but that's a topic for a different video. Now that we have a general understanding of how dividends work, we can move on to some easy ways to get some passive income. There are multiple strategies in order to start accumulating dividends. I will go over my strategy and then give you an easy to follow way to get this going for yourself. I really like trying to find undervalued stocks that pay really nice dividends. Currently, one of the largest holdings in my portfolio is Store Capital. This is a real estate company that I think will be one of the best stocks to hold over the next 10 years. They pay a fine dividend and are consistently growing it. I also own quite a few companies you may not have heard of, like Kinder Morgan, Masco, Iron Mountain, and the Williams Company. All of these stocks I've bought because I felt at one point they're really undervalued. I of course am no expert and some of these may not work out, but I'm confident in my process for analyzing companies. I realize this approach is not practical for everyone, especially considering the work that is needed to keep up with it. As I've said in earlier videos, not everyone can keep up with this and not everyone wants to do it. So with that, I give you the best way to make passive income through dividends: ETFs. I really like ETFs. They're pretty much the best thing that has ever happened to investing. If you don't know what ETFs are, check out the video in the top right. Basically, an ETF allows you to own a very small piece of a very large amount of stocks. I buy plenty of ETFs myself, ones like ESPO and SPHD. Now I want to go over what I believe are the 5 best dividend growth ETFs out there. Starting us off in the number 5 spot is NOBL, the Dividend Aristocrats ETF. There isn't really much to say about this ETF, although it does hold a very selective breed of companies in it. Dividend aristocrats are companies that have raised their dividend every year for 25 straight years. Some of its top holdings include 3M, IBM, and Stanley Black & Decker. This is one of those boring buy and hold forever ETFs. You can't really go wrong here. It is currently trading around $80 and pays a quarterly dividend of 50 cents as of its last dividend date. Taking up the number 4 spot is one of the best ETFs ever made, VYM, the Vanguard Yield Machine, which is definitely its name. It's a great ETF, trust me. If we look at its top holdings, we see a bunch of super boring, gigantic companies steadily moving along, such as J&J, JP Morgan, and AT&T. These are some of the oldest and strongest public companies. This ETF really is a dividend investor's dream. It has a long history and is, of course, managed by a world-class investment firm. However, it still sits at the number 4 spot because it's a rather boring ETF. It doesn't grow at a tremendous pace, but it will surely be able to stick around forever, hopefully. VYM trades for around $100 and pays a quarterly dividend right around 80 cents per share. The first one in our top 3 is SPHD. This is the very first thing I ever bought when I started investing. This ETF has an interesting premise. SPHD holds what it deems as the least volatile and the highest dividend-paying stocks in the S&P 500. Now, this has somewhat had mixed results over the time the ETF has been around. However, if you find sacrificing stock price appreciation for some solid monthly dividends, this is certainly the ETF for you. Its top holdings includes ExxonMobil, Iron Mountain, and Altria. SPHD goes for about $41 per share and pays 15 cents per share. This 15 cents, though, is paid out every month you own the ETF. Number 2 on this list is SCHD, the Charles Schwab High Dividend Yield ETF. This ETF is probably the best overall dividend ETF in this list, and that's partially why it ranks so high. It prioritizes investing in quote-unquote good stocks. SCHD screens various companies for things like cash to debt ratio, dividend yield, and dividend growth rate. Some of its top holdings include 3M, Texas Instruments, and IBM. Shares of SCHD go for about $70, and SCHD pays a quarterly dividend of right around 60 cents. Finally, we have my favorite dividend ETF, PEY, the Invesco Dividend Overachievers ETF. This ETF is my favorite on this list for a number of reasons. First, its very concept is interesting. PEY screens for the highest yielding stocks that have 10 straight years of dividend increases and a market cap above $1 billion. The second is that it pays monthly, and I love any stock and ETF that pays monthly. Most importantly though, PEY holds much of its portfolio in financials and energy. Here's the breakdown for its sector allocation. Both financials and energy are, in my opinion, poised for a tremendous year in 2021 and onward. These two sectors are some of the hardest hit by the pandemic and have the most room to run in 2021. Shares of PEY go for just under $20, and as I said previously, it pays a monthly dividend of 6 cents. Now that we have our list of ETFs, I would like to explain a little more in depth on how to buy passive income. Let's use PEY as an example. If you were to buy one share of PEY, you would earn 6 cents every month ad infinitum, with the amount usually increasing by a penny every year. You would earn 6 cents per share every month this year, and then next year you would earn 7 cents every month, and so on and so forth. What's really easy is finding out how much we want to make in income every month. Let's say you wanted an extra $100 per month. I know for many people this would be a huge amount, especially given last year's hard hit. Well, if we want $100, we need about 1,667 shares of PEY. This sounds like a lot, and it is. It's around $33,000 invested. Many don't have this lying around, unfortunately. Maybe not immediately attainable, however, this is where the magic of compounding comes in. If you buy one share of PEY right now, you will, as I said, begin receiving regular monthly dividend payments of 6 cents per month. Instead of withdrawing that dividend, you can instead reinvest it into buying more shares. Every month you receive a tiny fraction of another share. As you continue adding money into this ETF, it continues to build up. At $330, you will receive 1/10 of a new share every month. At $3,300 invested, you will be receiving 1/2 of a new share every month, along with the 3 cents that comes with owning that new half share. At $6,700, you're able to start buying a whole nother share every month just from the amount of dividends you receive. That's the best part. If you have a little bit of extra cash lying around every month, you can just put it into these ETFs. You can slowly start growing a huge passive income stream. Of course, it takes time. Most things do. Eventually, you will get to the point where you can take that dividend income out instead of reinvesting it. Although reinvesting it is almost always better. This is actually my plan too. One day I hope to have enough passive dividend income that I can pay any bills with just my monthly stream of money from these amazing ETFs and dividend stocks. Just 2 more things I want to quickly go over before the end of this video. First off, it's probably not the best idea to pick one of these ETFs and only buy that ETF. Really, it's best to diversify and add this ETF to an already strong portfolio. Personally, I own both SPHD and PEY. They combined make up about 8.5% of my portfolio. I am also probably going to add SCHD at some point in the future because I think it's just such a good ETF. Regardless, I don't think it wise to put all your eggs in one basket. The second thing is to do your own research to find good dividend ETFs. Please don't just go buy the one with the highest dividend yield. Chasing a high dividend yield is almost certainly a bad idea. Take for instance SDIV, the Global X Super Dividend ETF, a terrible ETF. This ETF only holds the highest yielding companies on the market. Many of the companies in SDIV are failing companies that stopped growing years ago. They try and lure investors in with this insanely high dividend yield to make them think that they're good companies to buy. Spoiler, they're not. Oh, but SDIV has a 10% dividend yield and it pays out every month, you say. Doesn't matter. Most of the companies SDIV holds are still terrible, failing businesses that are only part of the ETF because of their dividend yields. And an ETF is only as good as the companies that make it up. Overall, I think these ETFs make a strong addition to any portfolio, and I hope you consider them. Of course, I am no expert, and there may be an even better dividend ETF out there that I don't know about. If you know of any, let me know in the comments. For example, when I started researching ETFs for this video, I came across SCHD, which I had never seen before. After analyzing it, I am probably going to add it into my portfolio in my next round of buying. But, like I said, I'm no expert, so please do your own research. I left a link to ETF.com in the description if you want to look through these ETFs for yourself. Might be a good place to start. The reason I talk about all these ETFs is that they are, in my opinion, the easiest way to get started with earning passive income. You really don't have to do anything to start earning money from this investment. There's no earning reports and no other news to consider when investing here. That's what investing to me is all about, really. Building a steady stream of passive income to one day be able to live off of. With that, I hope all of you enjoyed, and I wish to see all of you in the next episode of Dollars and Cents.